All right, Sunday night edition of the wrap-up show following a Padres series win in Tampa, which we all signed up for. I think we would have taken 2 out of 3. It wasn't great Saturday, but sandwiched between a couple of wins. Friday, they looked really good. Today, kind of finding a way in the ninth. Suarez got out of a jam. Padres put together an inning where they scored a run. Machado a big single. Bogaerts a big sac fly. Dylan Cease good enough, and the Padres win the series. They win the road trip. They go 4-3 on the road trip. They pick up a game on the Dodgers. They're still 5 games back in the NL West here, but they do win today 4-3. So John and Jim with you on the wrap-up show. Make your way in Sunday night edition during Labor Day weekend. We'll be with you for the next hour. If you support the channel, if it's your first time here, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Year-round content for Padres fans. Smash the like button for us. You can follow us on X at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Thank you for the super chats. We'll get to every single super chat here tonight. We do appreciate your support of the channel. You can click the $ below the chat box to get your comment on screen. We'll react to it. You can control the direction of the conversation. You can support the channel. Just click that $ below the chat box. You can become a member by clicking the join button down below. 2 out of 3, Jim, in Tampa. Padres chugging along into the month of September, well positioned for the postseason, outside looking in the NL West, but they've put themselves in a position where they could potentially still be this top wildcard team or even better.
Atlanta lost tonight, which is good.
Yep.
They are now 3 up on Atlanta. Problem is they're only 4 up on the Mets.
Is that? I did not realize that. The Padres are 4 games up on the Mets?
Correct. Mets have won 4 in a row.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
And this is an outside shot, right? Your Cubbies, John, have gotten hot, and they are only
really have
3 back of a wild card spot.
So they're 6 back of the Padres.
That's, to me,
that's a little
far. But yep, for a postseason spot, I mean,
they could get in the postseason, yeah.
Yeah, and again, anything can happen there. St. Louis, they're done. Giants, they're beyond done. Reds done. Blah blah blah, so forth and so forth. We have hit September 1st. Padres are tied with the Diamondbacks for the 4 seed. The division 5 back, start of September. We said anything 5 back and above, it's kind of hard to envision them making a play for the division, and I kind of feel that way too. And they had a 4-3 road trip. I think we all said you would take a 4-3 road trip. We were hoping for better. They could have had better, but they played well in Tampa. Besides the other night, and you come home now and just play consistent baseball and don't go any crazy losing streaks, and you're in.
Look at it this way, Jim. They have 23 games left. That's it. It's the 1st of September. They have 23 games left. Now, to your point, to win the division, let's just do the math. Yeah. Are they going to play better than 16-7 San Diego? That's incredible baseball. 16-7.
They're 6 back in the loss column, by the way.
Okay, so just hear me out. Let's say 16-7 to the finish line. Great finish, right? We all agree with the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks and the Astros. That'd be a great finish.
Right.
Well, you go 16-7. You got to make up 5 games, like you said. That's 6 in the loss column. Dodgers go a game or 2 over 500. That's still enough. So you probably have to close better than 16-7, in my opinion, to have a realistic shot at the division. Now you go through the Dodgers. Maybe you get there and you sweep a series. It's always a possibility. So things can get fascinating in that regard. But you're right. Like Arizona, San Diego, Atlanta, New York. Let's just start there. I mean, any of those teams conceivably, Jim, could be on the outside looking in. Like you always say, it's 1 week. I mean, Arizona has a bad week. You're like even with the Mets, or the Padres have a good week, or the Atlanta. You know what I mean? Like it's gotten to the point where all 4 of those teams have a good case, but nobody has fully made their case. And yeah, the Padres have 23 games, but you lose a series, and all of a sudden, if it gets tighter than 4 games up in a playoff spot, I'd be worried. I mean, if that thing gets down to 3 games, I'm going to be concerned.
Here's another little nugget for you. In just the National League, I want you to guess who has the easiest remaining schedule according to strength of schedule and teams they play.
Yeah, that's interesting to me. The easiest remaining schedule, I would say the way you say that is going to be someone behind San Diego, Atlanta or New York.
Atlanta has the 2nd easiest remaining strength of schedule.
Okay.
The Dodgers have the easiest.
Do they? So they kind of got through their harder portion. Maybe that was August.
The Dodgers have the easiest remaining strength of schedule in the National League. And it's kind of weird. You think about it, you're like, they play some good teams. They play
The
Cleveland,
Rockies 6 times.
but it's the Rockies 6 times. It's the Marlins 3 times, and then they play the Angels for 2.
Yeah, that's 11 of the remaining games.
Yeah. They do play Atlanta for 3. They play Cleveland for 3. They have the Padres for 3. They got one more tomorrow against Arizona, 3 against the Red Hot Cubs. But it's that 6 games or the 9 games versus the Rockies and Marlins that are just like, what the F, man?
Yeah, no doubt.
And then you have Atlanta. Like that's why I'm also Atlanta too. Watch out for them, even though they're 3 back. That 6 seed is still not out of the realm of possibility. Now the Mets have the 3rd toughest remaining schedule in the National League. Diamondbacks have the 6th toughest. So just looking at strength of schedule here and who these teams play and who you're chasing and who's behind you. Watch out for Atlanta. Dodgers, good luck with that probably. And it's nice. And the Padres have the 4th easiest remaining schedule in the National League.
Yeah, my guess is, and maybe I could be wrong, and I kind of hope to be wrong. My guess is the only conceivable way you would win the division is by sweeping the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. Because I think otherwise, because even if you took 2 out of 3 from them along the way, you only gain a game. So to really make inroads, unless the Dodgers fall off a cliff playing the Angels and the Marlins, which is not happening, then you're going to have to go through them, and you're going to need some help in addition to potentially sweeping a series in LA would be my guess. All right, let's get to some of the Super Chats, guys. We appreciate your support of the channel. Please subscribe if you're here, year-on content for Padres fans. Thank you for the supers. Click the dollar sign below the chat box, and let's get to this game. Michael, thank you. What Jackson Merrill has done continues to be beyond impressive, tying the franchise record for most RBIs by a rookie in a season. He hit his 21st home run today, straightaway center field with that beautiful swing over the 404 sign in Tampa. And he also had an incredible play defensively, Jim. Just incredible play for Dylan Cease to start an inning. That could have easily led to a run, and the difference in this game was 1 run.
He continues to prove in like every single game that he is the rookie of the year in my mind. And I mean, there's we've heard from Kyle Higashioka, we've heard from Michael King, we've heard from Manny. I mean, John, this kid potentially could hit 300 this year, and his OPS is 813 right now. Now, 300 mark, that'll be tough. He's hitting 289 right now, but still, I mean, he has tied the franchise record for most RBIs in a season by a rookie with 79. He has 21 homers on the year when we all thought, is he a 20 home run guy? And he's absolutely a guy that can give you 20 to 25, maybe even more home runs in a season. He could potentially be a 2020 guy. He's playing fantastic defense. He is, to me, this team's MVP.
You can easily make that case, and I'm not going to argue it. You can easily make that case. I think Manny Machado has had just a brilliant second half, but you're right. I think Jackson Merrill's been the more consistent hitter. That's not arguable. I think he's been more consistent this year. I think Machado has been brilliant over the last 60-plus games, but I'm not going to argue that point. Merrill has exceeded everyone's expectations. Everyone.
I just think
organization himself, probably, truthfully.
I just think, and we've talked about the production at different spots in the field. Like what Profar's done this year has been fantastic, but you got that same production last year in left field with Soto, and actually it was better. Manny's putting up same numbers. Okay. Bogaerts, actually he was better last season, but the one spot in this lineup that was just the complete black hole. I mean, I wanted him off the team long before the season ended, was center field. You got nothing out of your center fielder last year. Nothing. Trent Grisham was abysmal, and he still remains abysmal with the New York Yankees. And you go from a just well below average player to an all-star rookie of the year player in Jackson Merrill. I mean, that's a huge boost for a team.
Yeah, I mean, if you really had the crater of Grisham all year again, you're nowhere near. I mean, your season is floundering. I mean, who knows the difference between Merrill and Grisham this year, but it's a handful plus games is probably the difference, which is everything. That means you're on the outside looking in.
Yep.
If you had a handful more losses. Zach, appreciate you, man. He said today felt like a must win. I mean, it's a fair point with what Jim said earlier with the Mets streaking, with the Cubs streaking. You lose today, you're only 3 games up on a playoff spot. I give him a lot of credit for finding a way. This was not easy. Tampa got even in this game against Dylan Cease, who had command issues in the 5th inning. Then they had chances to take a lead. I think off Tanner Scott, he had a leadoff base runner there in the 8th inning. Padres take a lead. Then Suarez, who's been very shaky, 2 on 1 out, goes strikeout, and then he got that final out to secure the win. He struck out the batter to secure the win. So, yeah, I mean, listen, it was an important win. I don't know if it was a must win, but it feels important coming home 4-3 on the road trip as opposed to 3-4.
Well, you're in the time of the year where every game feels like a must win. Every game that you win feels amazing, and every game that the Padres lose feels like the end of the world. I mean, truly, that's what it feels like here for September, when you're in the hunt, when you have slim margins for error, when you're not 12 games up on a playoff spot. You are, tied for the 4 seed, but you're also looking at a 6 seed potentially. You're trying to chase down the Dodgers, and if you have a bad week, you could be in real trouble. So like everything feels like a must-win, biggest game of the year, and truthfully, like it kind of is. Like it just that's how September baseball is when you're in a pennant race, and it's this tight.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now you get Detroit for this odd 3 games in 4 days where Joe Musgrove's going to throw Monday. Are they catching Scooble or not?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, because it's TBD tomorrow, and then he's not a slated starter for Wednesday or Thursday. They're already listed, the probables.
Mize and Montero.
I mean, think about that. You miss Skeens twice against Pittsburgh. You could miss Scooble here. I mean, again, I think that like sometimes you got to be lucky and good. I think they're good, but I think they've had some good fortune along the way as well. And I'm all for. Remember, we had this conversation like a month ago, like, oh, do you want to see Paul Skeens? I'm like, no, I don't want to see Paul Skeens. I'd rather see the Padres win. Do you want to see Tariq Scooble? No, not really. Not if it's cost the Padres a win. So I'm all for facing the rest of their rotation and taking my chances and hoping to win a series at home against the Tigers coming up.
Yeah, I think everything so far has like fallen the Padres' way in the second half, and they've taken advantage. And you got one more game of this 18-game stretch to go, and then everyone can sleep all day on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They can enjoy the hot weather. Matthew, thank you for the super chat. He says, thoughts of Profar splits for August. I just looked them up. They're awful.
Yeah.
He was hurt. He played every single day. He was hit like 100 times. He hit 196.
Yeah.
In August, he had a 336 on base, which is crazy high for a guy that hit 196. Like, that's unbelievable because he was hit so many times, truthfully. He had a 353 slug, which was way off where he was, for a 689 OPS, which isn't horrific because of the on base. So again, OPS 689, you're not going to, it's not a 550, but he's really fallen off, and we'll see if he can rebound here the final month of the season.
And they're going to need him because even though the whole lineup thing, I was like, yeah, put him 7th, whatever. They're probably not, right? Even when Tatis gets back, and so he's got to be better for sure. When you win, like we said, you win, you're not really talking about it as much, but he is a huge part of this team, and he's going to be relied on because he's going to play every single day, and he's going to most likely be in the middle of that lineup somewhere that's important. So, like, yeah, he's got to be better. Luckily, they're winning games, and a 4-3 road trip, not the end of the world, is actually something that in their position, you take it and you say, okay, cool, we're done.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I'm surprised that they actually, in that 4-3 trip, lost a couple of games to a couple of teams, like the Cubs, who are well behind them, and then like the Mets here over the last 4 days, they lost a couple of games to the Mets. But again, still 4 up with 23 to play. It's not fully safe. It is not a lock. There are no guarantees, but they're well positioned. I'd rather be where they're sitting than the Cubs or the Mets or the Braves. And this Arizona-San Diego thing could be fascinating too. I mean, the most realistic scenario here is one's the 4 and one's the 5. Like, let's be honest. Things can change. Absolutely. Atlanta, New York, whatever. But I mean, the most realistic scenario, Jim, is you're either playing a game against the Diamondbacks in Phoenix, 3-game series, or you're playing a 3-game series against the Diamondbacks in San Diego. That's the most realistic scenario heading into the month.
Yeah, pretty much. And
yeah,
I think right now, number one priority heading into September. Well, a couple weeks ago, to me, it was chase down the division, but you had to be closer than you are now at September 1st. They were 3 back on September 1st, or hell, even 2 back. Division to me is priority. Like, go for the division.
Yeah.
Priority, you got to get home field for the first round against Arizona or Atlanta, or whoever.
Cubs. Yeah.
Mets, right?
Yep.
Get home field. Get home field. It will be insane here if you could do that for a 3-game series to start off the postseason. Yeah, going to Arizona does not sound fun to me. I would not feel as scared if they had to go to Atlanta, to be honest with you. That's just, I think they played Atlanta well this year.
Yep.
But Arizona, that does scare me.
Could we touch on, I see the super from Matt, and we'll get to it. And thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. And everyone here, please subscribe. Nearly 300 people here live on a Sunday night. We'll have thousands watching this on replay as well. Please subscribe. We're pushing towards 7,000 subscribers. We'll get there with your help, hopefully this week. So please subscribe. You're on Content for Padres fans. Thank you for the super chats. The interesting thing about the signing of Nicky, right, from all the way back in April, from Mike Schilt, is they actually made the signing August 31st, which makes him eligible for the postseason roster, which, by the way, Jim, actually is significant because Ha-Seong Kim still hasn't been cleared to throw. So in an event where Ha-Seong Kim is not healthy, you're not in the postseason with Mason McCoy and Tyler Wade at short. I'm sorry. Like, that's not a realistic scenario for an organization that's trying to win a World Series. Therefore, if you are AJ Preller and his front office, you need to find a guy that can absolutely field his position, is a veteran. He can't hit. But again, he's been through the battle, so to speak. So I kind of get the signing. Again, do I think it's a difference maker? No, it's not. But under the theory that Kim may not be fully healthy, or what if he goes down again and you need someone in the postseason that isn't Ha-Seong Kim, you're not going to start Mason McCoy in the postseason, even though he's giving you a nice 10 days.
100% agreed. Right? Nicky Ahmed is a vet. Defensively, that's why you signed him. Like, you're not signing
great
him for
defensive player.
But he's also not the Mason McCoy or the Tyler Wade of the world who you would be like, oh my God, I'm scared for every ball that's hit their way.
Yep.
And that's not the case with Nicky Ahmed, even though, errors do happen. But still, I think it's a good insurance policy. And bringing up Elias Diaz today, also another good insurance policy. They made a million moves today. And I just think the more veteran presence that you have on this roster, the better. Heading into October.
Who's their second catcher in October? Diaz or Campusano? It's easy to make the case it's Diaz because of his defense.
I'm gonna need to see Diaz out there though. Like I'm gonna need to see Diaz catch some games here. If we get to October 1 and he's played like 2 games, like, that to me doesn't make sense.
I think they'll give him chances. He's a plus defender. Like he's and with in theory a plus bat, but he's a better defender than Luis Campusano, and we've even seen that like as recently as today with Campy. But if I was just guessing, again, the veteran option over the younger guy that is kind of disappointed, I'm guessing Diaz is your second catcher in the postseason. That's just my speculation. I'm kind of guessing Nick Ahmed might be on the 26-man roster too. He could replace Tyler Wade. We know Mason McCoy would go down for Kim, but I wonder if Ahmed would replace Tyler Wade. I don't know about the speed considerations in there.
Hey, if there's one person out there that could gain Schulte's love and affection over Tyler Wade, it's Nicky Ahmed.
It's Nicky. He loves Nicky. He loves Nicky.
He loves Nicky.
Remember that? What was
Tyler Wade's like,
it was some big play in San Francisco. It was like some big play. I forget what it was. Middle infield.
He's like, oh, Nicky.
Yeah.
Did he manage Nicky in St. Louis? Because Nicky Ahmed's played with like every single team in baseball.
He really has, including like the Dodgers and everyone else. Matt, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you, man. He says, let's give some love to hitting coach Vic Rodriguez. He has turned the offense around finally, especially at Petco. Yeah, the offense has been night and day from a year ago. We talked about it the other night, Jim. I think Friday night we said maybe they're like a top 8 offense in the game, maybe the best offense they've ever had at Petco Park. Not maybe, it is, I think, the best offense they've ever had in the Petco era, and maybe a top 2 all-time offense in the history of the franchise behind the 1998 Padres. But Vic Rodriguez should absolutely get credit for a team that's improved on offense.
I think he gets a lot of credit. I think the mindset of the team last year with whatever Ryan Flaherty was trying to do was ridiculous. I mean, to even imagine that Ryan Flaherty had a shot to be the manager of this team is mind blowing. I truly think that they dodged a bullet with Ryan Flaherty. And to get Vic Rodriguez here, I think a lot of what Bogaerts has influence on helped from Boston. And I also think the addition of Luis Arraez really helped as well because of his approach. And then just also the fact that they're actually all now communicating this year and helping each other out is another reason as well.
By the way, real quick, Jim, back to your Mets, not your Mets, but your point on the Mets is they own the tiebreaker.
Correct.
Which is even scarier, truthfully. I mean, 4 games is 4 games, but you can't finish in a virtual tie, so you can't give up more than 3 games to the New York Mets. You give up a 4th, and you've lost out.
You just got to play consistent baseball here. Don't have a week where you go 1-5. You go 1-5 in a week.
Yeah, you got to be able to, like, your worst week has to be 3-4. And by the way, with off days, they don't have a 7-game week from here on out. But your worst week, hopefully, is 3-3. Truthfully,
right?
And if you can go 3-3, the Mets aren't going 6-0 or even 5-1 on the average, nor multiple teams behind you. But I'm with you. Avoid the 2-4 week. If you have one 3-3 week, you stomach it, and hopefully the other weeks are 4-2 weeks, and then you're definitely in the postseason. Matthew, thank you for the super chat, guys. If you're here, please subscribe. We're on our way to 7,000 subscribers with your help inside of 100 of that. So please subscribe. By the way, if we get to 100,000 subscribers, Jim, I know we're 93,000 away. YouTube has shrunk the size of the YouTube play buttons.
Oh, you've researched this?
It came up in my feed from Think Media. They went down like 30% in size. So by the time we get it in 25 years, they're going to be like that size.
You said 75 years wrong.
No, when the Padres win the World Series this year, I spelled 7 weeks wrong. Hopefully.
That too.
Yeah. Matthew, thank you. He says, should they get rid of Campy, bad defense, etc.? I would say no, absolutely not to that. But I don't know if his play, Jim, is going to warrant consideration on a postseason roster or not. Let me ask you this, Jim. If he's the backup catcher in the postseason, why would he be on the roster when he wouldn't come into a game late defensively? Because he's not good defensively.
Right.
So, like, what role does he have? I mean, he's got a little bit of pop in that bat, but we haven't seen it.
His OPS is in the 600s, if I'm not mistaken. I think he had a nice game the other day.
Flat out to the warning track today. That was cool.
Yeah, over 2, a couple walks, 654 OPS. He's hitting 232.
Yeah, I mean, he's offensively, it's whatever for a catcher, but he's not good defensively.
That's the biggest problem, and you can't put him in there defensively at all.
Yeah.
So the Diaz pickup
makes more sense.
Huge. And we also have to remember with Campy, this is the most games he's played ever in a big league season. He's at 89 games right now. The most he has played was last year with 49. You know, all these guys are playing it's a crazy, like, some of these guys look like they're slowing down, like Campy and, you know, King's had a little bit of up and down here. Matt Waldron fell off a cliff. You haven't seen him in a little while.
Not Merrill.
And the guy that gets better and better is Jackson Merrill. He's just incredible.
It's true. I'm trying to look at the most games. Like you just mentioned it. He's played 89 games. Like, I'm just looking at the last time he played 89 games, even in the minor leagues, Jim. You'd have to go back I don't know. I'd have to do the math on it, but it's a lot of games for a catcher. It is. He played 110 games in 2019 with Lake Elsinore, but that's a long time ago, and it is a long year. And he has doubled up his workload, and there have been a lot of lows in there for him this year. Again, I'm just saying my hunch tells me Elias Diaz is on the postseason roster for the Padres at the expense of Luis Campusano. That's my hunch. I could be off. But to your point, if Diaz doesn't play or doesn't look the part or is off, then it's going to be Campusano. I just think that's why you probably signed him. And then Nicky, I'm thinking for Wadey regardless here. Let's say Kim's 100% healthy and playing well. I still might want to make my Nicky Wadey flip for defense.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have, like, I know Schilt loves Tyler Wade. You're going to have to cut the cord, man. Like, you're just going to have to, because he serves no purpose on this team. And in a postseason, you cannot go into a postseason series with one of your roster spots filled with a no-purpose player. You just can't. You have to have every single position have a role. Tyler Wade has no role. You're not putting him out there for defense. Pinch running, okay, Nick Ahmed can do the exact same thing as Tyler Wade. You're not pinch hitting him ever. And if there's a situation where where Hassan Kim got injured or something, you're going to have to put him out there defensively in a postseason game. No shot.
Yeah, and I would prefer the defensive replacement 9 out of 10 times to the pinch runner off the bench.
Right.
Wouldn't we all agree with, like, the defensive replacement is so much more significant, in my opinion, than the possibility of a guy being a little faster than someone else in one moment.
Like, let me ask you right now, who would he be pinch running for on this team?
Right, ain't Kimmy.
It's
all Kim does is run.
Luis Arise?
But probably not, because is Arise coming out of the game? I mean, I guess down a run, and
like, that's the point, is you pinch run for somebody, then that guy's out of the game. You're not pinch running for Manny. You're not pinch running for Tatis. You're not pinch running for Jackson or Profar or Cronenworth. I mean, Higgy, okay. But then guess what?
I'd rather save runs. I'd rather save runs than run fractionally faster than the replacement.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if I hit a ball in the gap, a lot of guys score from first.
Yeah, they don't.
If I hit a single, a lot of guys score from second.
They don't have Big Papi on this team.
Yeah, they're not the slowest team in baseball history. Now, they're not always the fastest. There's someone like Luis Ariz is not fast. But again, I'm going to keep Tyler Wade because he might pinch run one time in a postseason series. And I mean, okay, that seems like a
Did he run for Cronenworth today?
I mean, they use guys late all the time. I have no idea. Maybe. I mean, they should. How else? What's the point of having a 26-man roster? In the regular season, he should play all the time. He should be either a defensive replacement or a pinch run. That's his point. Otherwise, why is he there? Zach, thank you for the super. He says Wade plays left, and we need him to back up Profar. Because of left? You're saying because Peralta wouldn't be put in left?
I forgot he did score the winning run today. Not really helping my case.
Yeah, but no,
still,
he scored the winning run on a sac fly to center that he was easily safe on. That proves my point that it didn't come down to fractions of a second. He was safe by a second. Like, everyone can run down the line within 1 second of each other. Of course it can matter. Like, but it's not the end all be all is the point.
My postseason roster right now does not have Tyler Wade on it.
It wouldn't for me either. I would have Nick Ahmed. Why do you think they signed Nick Ahmed? You think they've had the same conversations we have? I do. You know what I mean? And I think the Kim insurance. I think the Kim insurance policy is real.
For sure.
If Kim's hurt, you need a starting shortstop, and it's not Tyler Wade, and it's not whomever Mason McCoy, unfortunately. Michael, thank you for the super. Says, should we trade Campy during the offseason? What value? I mean, just to do it, just to get some fringe prospect back because he's got a couple of years of control. Yeah, maybe. But, I mean, Elias Diaz isn't going to be here next year, would be my guess. And Kyle Higashioka is not exactly a pup. So, no, I wouldn't trade Luis Campusano. I'd hope he continues to improve. I don't know if that's possible or not.
And you got a career from Higgy,
yeah.
So it's tough. Like, we all think Higgy has been fantastic for this team.
Oh, absolutely.
just luckily he's having a career this year, which is nice.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
They're
All
not
right, we're
they're
gonna
not
get back.
trading a guy that's controllable and young like Campy.
I wouldn't. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Unless you really don't believe he has the ability to consistently catch at the big league level. I'm talking about defensively. I think his bat plays fine for a catcher, but if he truly cannot catch, all right, well, maybe that's a conversation. And yeah, there's no need to trade him. Ethan Salas is still multiple years away. There's no need to trade your 25-year-old. We do want to thank our title sponsor here in the wrap-up show, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. We can't do this without everyone's support that is here live right now or on replay. We can't do this without Mark either. He's been with us since day one. That's about 4 years on YouTube with us. Thank you, Mark, for your longtime support of the channel. He's a great insurance agent. You can take that from us. I've got homeowners and earthquake and life insurance through Mark Nimitz. He has saved my family so much time and money. We had to file a claim a couple years ago. He took care of everything. We were out of our house. We had this minor flood. He saved us thousands of dollars and so much time. And even just by switching your insurance, he could save you $750 or more. He does auto, home, renters, life, earthquake, and more. So if you want to save money on your insurance, click the link in the description down below. Get in contact with Mark, lifelong San Diegan, lifelong Padres fan. And if you support the channel, please support our title sponsor. Save money on your insurance. He's a great insurance agent. Click that link in the description down below.
Yeah, all his information is on the ticker there, scrolling across the screen. mnimitz at farmersagent.com. Reach out to him. Let him know that John and Jim of the wrap-up show sent you.
We are on a little bit of Yu Darvish, Fernando Tatis Jr. watch. I don't think within 24 hours because, well, Darvish still has to make a rehab. But Tatis may not have to make a rehab. We had Kevin Acee with us on Friday, and he said he could be back on this homestand.
Mm-hmm.
And he said early on the homestand. I mean, I think he kind of speculated. He kind of threw it out there could be Monday, could be Wednesday. But it almost would be surprising, Jim, if we didn't see Tatis during the homestand. Would you agree with that over the next 7 days?
I still stand by. I'm going to go with Friday.
Okay.
Game 1 versus the Giants.
Okay.
But could be wrong. But I do think this homestand he will return. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. It could be a huge boost, but there's no guarantee of that. There's no guarantee. And with only 23 games left, he's got to get the opportunities. He's got to get the plate appearances to get himself comfortable, healthy, available, capable for the team in the postseason. That's not a lot of plate appearances.
And truthfully, I didn't think it was going to take this long.
Mm-hmm.
I thought mid-August at the latest. And now we're into the start of September. So time to go. If you can go, it does. And by the way, it also sounds too like he won't be 100% this year.
Yeah, Kevin said that.
This thing is still not fully healed, but he can go out there and he can. I mean, he played pretty much 80 games with a bum leg.
Good point.
So, good point. And that does that worry you long term? Hey, this thing is not healed. Is this going to be a problem? What's going on in the off season?
Yeah, it definitely worries me. Fernando Tatis Jr. worries me. His health flat out worries me.
Right.
Absolutely 1000%. I'm worried heading into next year about his availability and his ability to be on the field. Yeah. It sucks.
Yeah. I mean, a healthy Fernando Tatis Jr. It could be potentially one of the best players in baseball. He's just never healthy.
Yeah.
And when he is, you see the talent, you see how great he can be, but it's just a bummer. I just hope he gets back and he plays well and he helps his team out. And, it sets up for him to have some big moments down the stretch and in the postseason.
By the way, has anyone noticed the Tigers are 8-2 in their last 10 games?
What?
Yeah. Which includes a 6-game winning streak. They'll come in on a 2-game winning streak, but they're 8-2 in their last 10 games. They're over 500 somehow. The Detroit Tigers are over 500 right now. Now they're not going to the postseason, but they're over 500 at 69 and 68. Where are they actually? What does it take to get 70, to the postseason?
They're actually 70 and 68, John.
I'm sorry, 70 and 68. So where are they in the wild card standings?
Not even close in the American League. American League,
5 games,
5 back.
They're not. The point is, they're not done. They're not playing for nothing. It's a stretch. I agree with that, but not playing for nothing.
Yeah, our Kansas City Royals are tied with the Twins right now
How many games up are Kansas City and Minnesota on Detroit in the division?
5.
And they're 5 back in the wild card. No, they're alive, dude. They win 4 straight or something.
No. Sorry. So Cleveland leads the division by 3.5. Twins and Royals are tied 70 in the wild card race right now.
But how many games? Wait, so how many games back are the Tigers of first place in the division?
8.5.
Okay,
it's over.
That's good. But wild card at 5, yeah, it's over, but it's not definitively over.
And
like 1%.
And they're a decent road team. I mean, they're 35 and 34 on the road this year.
Yeah, that's very good. That is good for a road team. So that's a concern. You don't get Scooble, but they've played good baseball. Sunriser, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you, man. Thank you, guys. Please subscribe, and thank you for the supers. Click the $ below the chat box. He said, Wade seems to have good chemistry with the team. Well, he certainly does with Mike Schild. How do you think Diaz and Nicky A blend in? I mean, it's impossible to know. But Diaz has never played the postseason in his career. Read an article today. I think he's thankful for the opportunity because this team is likely heading to the postseason. And Ahmed has stuck around for a long time in the big league, so I would guess that he probably fits pretty well on a big league roster. But chemistry is not going to be the reason to keep the 26th player, in my opinion. I think the reason to keep a player is to have value in a postseason series. And if you say it's a speed, okay, I buy it, but I could provide probably more value with someone else potentially than Tyler Wade. That's what it comes down to for me, value.
Now, if you're not on the postseason roster, could you still be around in the postseason or no?
Yeah, it's just round by round. And yes, you're around the team. You can be in the dugout. In fact, I think if you're on the 28-man roster or the 40-man, he could be around the team, and he could also be available for future rounds. You know what I mean? You set your roster for a round, then you can reset your roster the next round.
Right.
But again, that's assuming you win a round and make a change.
So to my point, you can have Tyler Wade around if you're so worried about your chemistry with the team.
Yeah, they're not releasing him.
Yeah, they're not going to be like, hey, you can't be around us anymore.
No. He stays with the team. Yep, right. He stays with the team.
He'll be a great cheerleader.
Yeah, it'd be great. Cruiser, thank you for the super. He says, need a playoff shortstop. We pay Bogey $25 million a year to do that. No, you actually don't. You pay $25 million to Bogey to be your starting second baseman. That's what they said to start the year. And you pay him actually to produce, which he has to some extent. Actually, that's probably putting it lightly. He's produced in the second half. Would you like more power? Absolutely. But it's unfair to say Xander Bogaerts has not been impactful in the second half because he has been.
He went 2 for 4 today with an RBI.
Yeah, the biggest RBI of the game, a sac fly with 1 out in the 9th inning.
So he might not be doing what you hope out of a $26 million player, which is put up numbers. But yeah, in the second half, he has been much, much better. And that's what you ask. That's all you ask for, truthfully, is don't be as bad as you were. And you got to have at least some moments where you help the team win. It can't be a complete black hole in the lineup. And he's not a complete black hole. I mean, the concern about Xander Bogaerts and his future here after this season, that's a huge thing. I just think that this could potentially be one of the worst contracts in franchise history, just because you're not getting really the production that you hope to get out of him. But if they win a World Series, who gives a shit? So that's where you're at. I mean, this year, John, he has 19 extra base hits. Sorry, 20 extra base hits on the season.
On the season, you said?
20.
No, listen, all the points are valid. I'm not telling you he's had the greatest year, and you're right. But I will say this, 40 games since the All-Star break, and he actually had a little bit of a run when he got back, but I have it right here at MLB.com.
A little bit. He had a hit he didn't get an out. I mean, he was
okay,
getting hit.
Exactly. So this is I'm saying this is actually singles. This isn't doing him justice then. But in 40 games since the All-Star break, I'm just saying this plays. He's got a 781 OPS, 316 batting average, 781 OPS. That absolutely plays for a middle infielder. That's very productive for a middle infielder. Would you like more power? Yes. But has he contributed to this team in the second half? The answer to that, in my opinion, is also yes.
Yeah, they're
and they
also
play good baseball since he's returned.
right. They're Xander's not had a great season, but they're also not where they're at without Xander.
Yeah, I think he's been helpful in the second half, is the point.
Like, do I want more? Absolutely. Is it frustrating? Yeah, it is. But he has also helped them get to where they are now. He's not the driving force, but he's helped them, and that's all you can ask for. And thank God for guys like Jackson Merrill and Manny Machado to lead the way and really put this team on their backs. And yeah, he is he's a good role player. He's been a good role player for this team.
You're saying, you're not saying like utility. You're saying filling a role, like just
Filling
doing
a
his
role,
part.
doing his part. Unfortunately, you have hoped his part would be like, hey, Xander's an all-star, this and that, right? I don't know if he'll ever be that, but the role that he has now is do what you can to help the team win, and the team is winning.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at where they are in the second half of the season, and why are they where they are in the second half of the season? And Xander's one of the reasons as to why. He's not the primary reason, to your point. And also because he's hit 330 since coming back, or whatever it is, he's your second baseman. He's been quoted saying, I've put a lot of time in at second. It's not as simple as just going back and forth for me. They asked him to be the second baseman. He has been their second baseman. And, if it was a long-term thing, I don't know what happens when Ha-Seong Kim leaves this offseason. I'm presuming he leaves. And then I'm presuming they've figured out shortstop. I don't think it's by putting Bogaerts back there. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me after moving him to second base. But, I'm not moving him there because I don't know about 2025, because it's 2024 right now. And in 2024, they're either going to have Ha-Seong Kim or Nicky or Wadey or McCoy here in the last 23 games of the year.
And Mark brings up a good point. Like, he's a veteran player, he's won World Series, valuable for a team with a goal to win the World Series.
Yeah,
and that's it. So I mean, from that standpoint, yeah. I mean, if this team's payroll was $1 billion and they were $700 million over the CBT, like for a season, and they were having to pay the most taxed whatever payroll in the history of the sport, I guarantee you, no one would give a shit if they won the World Series.
Oh, 100%.
Nobody would care.
This is kind of funny.
I think he's good in center field.
Yeah, I think when you have your all-star center fielder as a 21-year-old that actually broke in as a 20-year-old and it's going to be rookie of the year, you're pretty hell-bent on leaving him there. But crazier things have happened with the Padres organization. I will say that over the years. I do know that. Let's get to Mova Globes, guys. Listen, pick these up during the final month of the regular season for the postseason. Great products and products for Padres fans. This company is based in San Diego. This technology of spinning globes with artificial or natural light was founded, invented right here, Cardiff by the Sea in North County in San Diego. They have all 30 teams officially licensed, and you can pick them up with 10% off by using promo code PWS10. Any team, get 10% off. Use promo code PWS10. They also have globes for much more than just baseball teams. They've got planetary globes and satellite globes and globes. I don't know. They got a million globes. Okay. All they do is globes. So if you like globes is the company for you, Mova Globes, click that link in the description down below. Use promo code PWS10, Jim. Look how they spin, Jim.
Yes, I know.
Do they have that?
No, I wish. That would be Michael. I don't know if you're in the chat tonight, but I need you to talk to some of your people and the Mova Globe Death Star. I would need that ASAP. Just throwing that out there. I think, that's a great idea from the Hoff. And I second that. A Mova Globe Death Star. But in the meantime, for all Padres fans, and if you're not a Padres fan and you're still watching us, use our promo code to pick up your favorite team's Mova Globe today, or a Mova Globe of a planet, a Mova Globe of the sun, a Mova Globe of the moon. You can get all three, the sun, moon, and earth.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They have packages you can do. They have uh, a bunch of different Earth MOVA globes. We have one out in our living room. It's fantastic. I love it.
This is sold out.
I think it's that one right there, the MOVA globe with the Earth one with the clouds. So use our promo code PWS10 and get yourself a MOVA globe today.
This puppy's sold out, man. Everyone wants the sun, earth, and moon.
People like the planets in space.
People love planets. People are very pro planet generally. I'm kind of anti planets. I like Earth. I don't. Did you see there was a photo I saw on social media? They're like, it's the clearest image ever of Venus. I'm like, okay, great.
What about Earth 2 that we talked about
we talked about that. What's Earth 2 like?
I forget.
Padres just win the World Series every year on Earth 2.
Yeah.
Okay, I like Earth 2 then.
Oh, here we go. Clearest image ever taken of Venus.
Thank you. And everyone's like freaking out about it. I'm like, great.
That's cool.
Put it on a MOVA globe. Michael, if you're here.
Want to hear some facts about Venus? Because I just looked at Twitter from the Bug Lord. I don't even know if these are correct or not, but I'm going to read it anyway. Venus rotates backwards, and it takes 243 Earth days, 5,832 Earth hours, 0.67 Earth years to complete a rotation.
Hold on. What do you mean it goes backwards? According to whom? Are we going forwards? And it takes, you're saying one day on Venus is 240 Earth days?
Looks like it.
So does that mean that you live like a zillion years because one day is 240 days? What's the temperature on Venus?
Thank you for asking that, because I was just about to get to that. The temperature on the surface gets up to 900 degrees Fahrenheit.
So you need to play inside, like the Trop.
Right. So basically, the surface is the temperature of Las Vegas. And
right.
The atmospheric pressure is 95 times higher than Earth's.
So what does that mean?
Like, basically, you'd be crushed in a millisecond.
So it's like hard to hit on Venus, like hit a ball,
like the elevate. Like, yeah, you guys there. They don't. When they get the ball in the air, it just doesn't fly. Like the marine layer there is horrible.
It's like anti-Colorado.
Yeah. It's also 90% denser. You'd be crushed by the air if you were teleported there.
I mean, I don't know if that's accurate.
Do you want to find out, John?
No, but like nobody's ever been to these places and they make these broad, bold statements.
So you think that the people that
it's like people tell you
NASA
like
are just like making this stuff up?
Well, no, I'll give you an example. People are like, oh, this city is unsafe. And then I go to the city. I'm like, I like this city.
I mean, I understand that, but this is also like
media coverage. It's the media coverage of Venus that's making Venus seem like it's a bad place that you wouldn't want to live.
I mean, this is science and NASA. So like, I'm not going to sit here and think that they have like a bias or like this general opinion that they're trying to force down our throats.
Are we sure Venus is it real?
What do you mean?
Some of this stuff is it's for another day. It's for another day on the wrap-up show. Zach, thank you for the super. He says, real talk, feels good that the Giants stink.
They're not good.
They've played terribly recently. I was going to say that. And you still have 6 games against them, right? Padres still have them 6 times. I don't think you're supposed to get Snell this weekend. Padres aren't. So, yeah, that could be beneficial. It could be beneficial. They're done. I mean, the Giants are completely done. And hopefully the Padres can take advantage of that.
Bob Melvin has not done a good job there, but also the fact that their general manager doesn't know how to build a roster is a definite problem there as well. I think Bob Melvin the last 2 years has had I think this year might be one of his worst years. I think last year there's just a lot going into that season, like that played out. I'm not going to put all of it on. I never was going to put it all on Bob Melvin. The relationship between him and AJ was a problem. And to say a guy's washed when he just took the team to the NLCS the previous year kind of was like, what are we doing here?
I don't even know how a manager can be washed.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, like you could be an old manager and manage like a good team, even if like you're like old school. I mean, I don't know. Again, oftentimes you give the manager too much credit or blame. I think Schultz done a nice job this year. I really do.
I think he's done
And
I think
Melvin
he's doing a great
probably
job.
hasn't done his best job the last 2 years. I think that's fair, but I wouldn't put all of it on either of them. I don't give all the credit to Schultz. I don't give all the blame to Melvin.
I also think if you put Mike Schultz as the manager of the Giants, I don't think the Giants or the Padres are at.
Probably true. Yep.
So
it's a good point. That is a good point. This one from the Fiery Friar, I think is an interesting point. He says it's ironic how shortstops are biggest question mark right now in a team full of ex shortstops. I get it, but still funny how that works. It is interesting. They got a lot of guys that play the position at a high level. A lot of guys that have played it at a very high level. And right now you have Mason McCoy playing short. That is interesting in the short term. And you sign a guy off the scrap heap like Nicky Ahmed, who I think has had, I think he's been very good at times. He just hasn't hit here recently.
And if this Kim injury kind of lingers any longer, then yeah, the Nick Ahmed, you can see Nick Ahmed getting some at bats for the Padres 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that you could see him getting some at bats sooner than later if Kim's out for another week.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
The McCoy and Wade experiment is it's just. I mean, I like McCoy
I like
over
McCoy.
Wade.
Yeah, I do like McCoy. I think he's done a decent job.
But yeah, you got to figure out something else there.
He made a good defensive play today, but yeah. I mean, we're talking about the postseason now. We're talking about the postseason and getting to the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, I tend to agree with you. I had something else I was going to say, but I forgot what I was going to say. Wandy Peralta was activated, right?
I ask you why.
Yeah, I guess. Man, they've really rotated through some of these relievers. I mean, they've had these high leverage guys obviously all year, and that's benefited them. But I guess it's because they're playing so many games in such a short period of time that they've used a ton of arms. Wandy, I don't really know. I mean, I feel like it's been forever since we've seen Peralta, right? It's been months.
I take offense, by the way, to them sending down Sean Reynolds. Not cool, guys.
So mad. It was like 20 minutes after you called him like the eighth inning guy.
I said he's had 21 strikeouts in 11 innings. Guys have been great. I just also think that it's one of those things where Sean Reynolds pitched 5 outs the previous night.
Yeah, and they probably just needed a fresh arm, you're saying?
And you need a fresh arm, and he's got options, so that's what you do. Because why have a spot in your bullpen for a guy that won't be able to pitch that day? And you're in the midst of
I know, but when you send him down, he can't come back for I don't know what the period of time is, either 10 or 14 days. So you've sent him down, and he ain't coming back he will at some point in September.
Well, they recalled Tom Cosgrove. They reinstated Wandy Peralta.
Mm-hmm.
They optioned Randy Vasquez.
Oh, by the way, he was awful. So we haven't talked about it yesterday.
It was bad.
He allowed 9 runs. They let him just wear it. He walked way too many guys. Everyone who walked scored. He was giving up some hard contact. I mean, some hard contact. I want to say Manny's boy, whatever his name is, the dude that was crying about Manny, hit a ball about 600 feet.
Chirino, or I think it's his name.
No, not Chirino.
No, not Chirino. Why am I blanking?
You know what I'm talking about. We spent like 3 days at Caminero.
Caminero, yes, sorry.
Junior Caminero. He hit a ball far on Saturday. I mean, really far. So I'm not going to miss Randy Vasquez. Unfortunately, he had a nice little run there, Jim. 4, 5, 6 starts where he was effective. But on the whole, he's kind of left a lot to be desired, I would say.
Yeah, thankfully, we were both busy last night when that game was going on.
He's got 5.2 ERA right now in the bigs. Now, some of that's on yesterday, but sorry, not good enough.
Nope.
And yesterday, Alec Jacob threw 3 2/3 innings. He just wore it because you're trailing and you're not going to win the game. And because Randy Vasquez didn't go, he got 13 outs, won 4 1/3 innings. So I think this proves this point. You got to get Darvish back.
That's pretty important, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're talking keep talking about getting into the postseason. Like you could use Darvish making 3 or 4 starts just to help you get there. Make a couple of good starts, better than what Randy Vasquez gave you yesterday, and maybe win a game that you otherwise would have lost.
Right.
So hopefully.
It'd be really nice to all of a sudden next week you're like, oh yeah, Darvish is starting for the Padres this week. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
it'd be awesome.
cool.
Yeah, maybe against like the Giants this upcoming weekend. Is that possible? Maybe make a rehab Monday, Tuesday, and then pitch Saturday, Sunday in the big leagues. I would think that's possible.
What'd you make of Cease's outing today?
He was really good
early
until the 5th inning. He went back-to-back 4-pitch walks. Like he did himself in. I think it was walk, single, bye-bye, or whatever it was. And then he put who came on in back of him?
Adam.
And then Adam is wild pitch and it's past ball and it's this and it was just a bad inning that they could have left trailing, but they didn't, to their credit. But Cease, I was surprised that he was so good as he was, and then all of a sudden the wheels fell off. Because like in the postseason, I want to see him be able to get, like, he's the type of guy that we always talk about in the postseason. No, guys only go 5 innings or whatever. No, he's got to go 6. Even with his bullpen, you go 6 with Dylan Cease, you're going to win that game. But you go 5 innings, you're asking a lot of your bullpen.
He's done this multiple times this year, where he has the no-hit stuff early, and you're like, this could be a special day.
Yeah.
And by the way, we've seen it. He has the special day. Like, he has had the no-hitter. And then he has the games where he looks special early, and then for whatever reason, he just loses it. He's walking guys. He gives up a bunch of singles and not hard hit balls, but just like for whatever reasons, he'll have moments where it's like an inning goes by and he loses it, and you're right. He can't have that in the postseason. Can't.
Yeah. And I was watching this, like a couple of people saying he got squeezed. It was a weird strike zone. I forget who the play umpire was. It was bizarre. There were some called strikes on pitches out of the zone, and then but it happens all the time in the big leagues. We talk about it routinely. I forget
Jonathan Parra.
No, he wasn't the plate umpire today.
He was.
Was he?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here.
Are you 89% sure?
HP Jonathan Parra.
I thought it was John Tom Payne, though. I see him as HP as well.
Third base was John Tom Payne.
Okay. Interesting. Oh, I'm thinking of yesterday. I want to say Tom Payne was yesterday, and that's the pitches that were off the plate.
Yeah,
that like Profar got all upset about on Saturday.
Bad calls.
I'm confusing my games. By the way, Fred McGriff was honored before the game. That's why there was that delay today. Is he's going into the Hall of Fame as a Ray?
Well, it makes sense because Padres are in town. His ties with the Padres, even though it wasn't a long time with the Padres, yet somehow he's in the Padres Hall of Fame. Right? Like, how many years did he play with the Padres here in San Diego? He played.
We went through that the other day.
A year, 3 years. He played 2.5 years with the Padres.
Dude, I was going to say parts of 3 years. Yeah.
And he's in the Padres Hall of Fame.
I mean,
2.5 years. Padres Hall of Fame. Now, those 2 years were great.
Good. That's what I was going to say. He a 906 OPS. It's a Padre.
2.5 years, dude.
His career numbers. No, I'm with you. His career numbers are freaking good.
We played literally for 50 years.
He played for like 19. 493 home runs. 886 career OPS. How many All-Stars?
Now I'm saying, what the hell with the Padres Hall of Fame? Now, he was only a Tampa Bay Devil Ray for 3.5 years.
And he's going to the Hall of Fame as a Devil Ray.
And he's only an All-Star one time for them. And that
Here's my theory on that.
2000s.
Here's my theory. Who's in as a Ray? Wade Boggs?
Evan Longoria will be in there.
No, but who's in?
Oh.
Look up Rays in Rays cap in the Hall of Fame. It can't be more than like one person.
Is it just?
But Boggs? He's also from Tampa. Fred McGriff is from Tampa, so I wonder if they gave him the benefit of the doubt. And he played for everyone. He didn't play for anyone for more than like 5 years.
Tampa Bay Rays Hall of Famers, Fred McGriff and Wade Boggs. That's it.
So, like, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a stretch for both of them, probably.
Yeah, I don't think when I think Wade Boggs, I don't think Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
But he's Either do I. Either do I. Nobody does. Wait, is McGriff's in? Was he going into the Rays Hall of Fame or Major League Baseball Hall of Fame?
I think he was one of the Rays Hall of Fame. Right?
He went in the Rays Hall of Fame?
Hold on.
No, he was inducted in July of last year. Okay. I don't know what the hell he went in, but he's a Hall of Famer. Who cares? So he went in the Rays Hall, but he went in the Rays Hall after he went in Cooperstown?
Hold on.
Is that bizarre to you?
Tampa native Fred McGriff set to be inducted into Rays Hall of Fame.
Who goes in the Rays Hall of Fame after they go to Cooperstown? Like, I put him in the Rays Hall of Fame before Cooperstown, wouldn't you? Like, he last played for the Rays when?
Well, it was weird because I was like, why is there a delay on today's game?
Yeah, I was not watching during that. It said, and then I watched it back and they showed it. I just figured it had to do with his Cooperstown induction, but that was in 2023.
How many games this year have been delayed in a Dylan C start?
Like everyone. It's like rain.
It's like 10 of the starts have been delayed because of something.
What's that Rays Hall of Fame look like right now?
I think it's just Boggs and McGriff.
No, but that's Cooperstown. But I'm saying, like, is Longoria there's no one else in the Rays Hall of Fame?
I couldn't find it. It's just when I looked it up. Oh, here we go. Don Zimmer, Wade Boggs, Carl Crawford, Dave Willis, and Fred McGriff.
Dave Willis was their broadcaster. I think they passed away recently. Yeah, that's a small Hall of Fame. They must not have like a whole Hall of Fame room like Petco does.
I mean, Longoria will be in there.
100%.
What about your boy Snell, West Cy Young?
He'll probably be inducted the next time the Giants play in Tampa or wherever he is next year.
Rocco Baldelli's in there too. Makes sense.
Who even cares? No one in Tampa cares because there were 17,000 people there today. So
it's good. It's a pretty good number for a Sunday in Tampa, though.
For them, it's not terrible. They don't even sell tickets upstairs, I don't believe, at any point this year. Someone said, by the way, Tatis back tomorrow. Mark my words.
Okay.
All right. Day game tomorrow. There's Fernando Tatis Jr. hitting third.
I would love that.
That'd be amazing.
It'd be awesome.
It would be dope. All right. While we have a moment, I do want to remind our viewers about our friends at Underdog Fantasy. We are inside the first week of the NFL. We're just days away, less than a week away. Thursday Night Football. New customers get that $1,000 bonus cash offer if you use promo code PODSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP. Just click the link in the description down below and use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, and you're going to get a 50% deposit match up to $1,000. NFL Week 1 is this week. College football is underway. The Major League Baseball postseason is just weeks away. Take advantage. Play along with Underdog Fantasy. They're giving you free picks as well. You get this Travis Kelce free pick if you sign up using promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. They'll give you that free higher than a half yard. Travis Kelce will have that. Then they've got these NFL Week 1 discounts for you as well this week in the NFL at Underdog. If you use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, 50% deposit match right now, no matter what you deposit. $20 deposit, they'll give you free $10. $1,000 deposit, they'll give you a free $500, and so on and so forth. So check them out. Play a Padres pick 'em tomorrow, that day game against the Tigers. You can win big. We've had some $400 and $500 winners. You can win thousands of dollars on Underdog Fantasy. Click that link in the description down below, Jim, and use promo code PADSWRAP.
Promo code.
You're really good. It's really great.
Download the promo code, or not download the promo code.
Download the promo code. Great. Just shut up. It's amazing that.
Download the Underdog Fantasy app. Use promo code PODSWRAP. Whatever, dude.
HBBV, thank you. Why was Don on Fox calling for the Angels? Well, I don't think he's calling anything for the Angels. If he's on Fox, I think he answered your question. Because it's a job.
Because he's a national host. Or as in, he does national games.
Right. Like, so like they pay him money and in turn he calls the games.
Correct.
Padres also pay him money. In turn, he calls the games, but he has a deal with the Padres that says he only has to call a certain number of games for the Padres, and he can call a certain number of games nationally.
Correct.
Or do you think he's now the Angels, or is he now the voice of the Angels after calling this big game?
That'd be rough.
That would be. That would be. It definitely would be. All right, guys. Padres win the series, and they are 3 games up on. No, what are they? 4 games up on a playoff spot. 4 games up on a playoff spot right now, and 5 games out in the division. That's where they are. All right, so please subscribe. As we've told you, trying to get to 7,000 subscribers. So we are your home for year-round Padres talk. Please subscribe. We have year-round content for you. Smash the like button for us. You can follow us on X at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. If you haven't found us yet on Discord, click that link in the description down below. Continue the Padres conversation outside of the wrap-up show with our community on Discord. It's also pinned at the top of the live chat or in the link in the description down below. If you want to join us on Discord, continue that Padres discussion 24/7, 365. Thank you for the super thanks if you are here on replay. And thank you for those that become members as well. For Jim, I'm John. Padres win in Tampa 4-3. They'll be back home to take on the Tigers on Monday. And this has been the wrap-up show.
Peace.
Bye, Jim.